Episode 64.
64. Weeks are going by like crazy.
Yeah, we just did one. Did 63 2 days ago.
Well, I know. We were behind on
Yeah, a little bit.
anticipating bad weather.
Actually, we weren't on behind. We were just
Oh, we're ahead,
We're
actually.
ahead because we were anticipating the weather would be all screwing us all up.
Yeah. So tonight, we're going to talk about the mess down in Mexico. A lot of people are stranded. They shut the airport down for a while. This was the death of El Mencho. I'm not even going to try to
Yeah,
talk,
don't do that.
to mention his
I'm
name.
just going to screw it up.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. And Mencho, when this happened on February 22nd, they actually tracked him down to a resort and took out this guy, and he was the head of the cartel. So we're going to talk about that. We got a lot to talk about on that one. And of course, the United States winning gold in ice hockey. Wow.
Ice hockey. Since the last time was 1980. And I didn't know this. In 1962, they won it.
Oh, really? Okay.
60 or 61, something like
Wow.
that. Yeah.
And the girls' hockey team also won in overtime
And gold and got gold.
and took gold too.
Same score too, 2-1.
Yeah, weird. So we did real good in hockey.
Yes.
And apparently the males hockey team we'll talk about is going to the White House.
Yep.
So that's cool. And then I want to talk a little bit about Zohran Mamdani. Boy, oh boy, are they getting their shit handed to them?
Yep.
See, you know what? Everybody warned them.
Yep.
You know, he was social media and a young guy and smiling and this and that, made all these promises and it ain't happening. So we'll talk about that. Big stuff going on there.
Yep. That's for sure.
So Mexico. With the help of the U.S., I guess, they tracked him down.
Evidently, he was going to Puerto Vallarta
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
to a resort to
Yep.
meet a lover. I'm sure he's got a lot of lovers.
Or as the Italians say, guma.
Yeah, Guma.
Want to meet his guma.
Now, I'm not sure whether or not she was in on it, or just the United States and Mexico knew how to track her, and just kind of.
Oh,
Or was she in on it? Did she say, "Okay, track me. We're going to be over here." Blah blah blah.
well, you know what's funny? You know, that's a lot of the movie stuff going on.
Well,
right?
I mean,
But what if they caught her and said, you have to do this ahead of time? I wonder if that's what happened.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows. But
Because I don't think they really. I dived
didn't
into this,
say.
and I didn't. They didn't really say. All they said was they tracked him down when he was going to meet his lover at whatever hotel or whatever it was,
right.
and nobody really said, was she in on it? Was she getting paid? Was she, somebody approached her and said, "Listen, we want you to help you do this. We'll let you free. You don't have to be involved.
Right.
Just give us,
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that.
I'm not sure exactly how that was, but they got him, which is great.
Well, they were going to just try to arrest him, but he ended up in a shootout.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, did you see some of the armament that they have?
Oh yes.
The body armament.
Yeah.
They said he's got tanks.
Yeah, and you're not talking about the police. You're talking about the cartel.
The cartels.
I know.
God.
So I guess a big battle broke out, fighting back and forth, shooting each other, and
And they're brutal. I heard that they tied a
know.
man to
Yeah.
a tree
Yeah, and they take
and
his heart
burnt
out.
him alive.
Yeah, with a torch.
Well, with a torch, but I think they cut his chest open to take his heart out,
yeah.
and then they burnt him alive. Oh God.
Yeah, they're pretty brutal. I mean, these are the people that you see families hanging from the overpass. So he died on the way. They put him in a hospital. They took him in an ambulance. I guess we're gonna.
Yeah,
take
and
him
he
to the
died on
hospital.
the
He
way.
died on the way. And several of his associates were also killed in a gunfight
Right.
too. So this was like,
Total of 70 people between his people and police.
yeah, and the police.
Yeah.
So now, apparently, there's nobody to take his place yet. So
They're
there's
probably fighting, I would think.
yeah, there's a lot of infighting going on.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, in retaliation, they're setting buses on fire.
Oh, it was a mess.
They went to the police station to burn that down.
Airports were locked down. You see the people running in the airports?
Yeah,
They're running around. They didn't know what was going on. They interviewed one guy at one of the resorts. He says, we saw smoke, we heard bangs, and then all of a sudden everybody, the management of the hotel said, please go to your rooms and stay in your rooms and lock your doors.
right, lockdown. Yeah,
And
that's
crazy.
good. I mean, you're just going there on a beautiful vacation, right? Mexico is one of the best.
Oh, I
some
went
of the
there on my
areas.
honeymoon, went to Cancun.
Oh,
But
did you?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I tease my wife every once in a while because my wife is scared to death about everything.
Sure.
I said to her, "Why don't we go back to Cancun?"
Yeah,
She
great.
says, "No way." She says, "Absolutely not. Would I ever go there?"
Can you imagine if you talk her into it and then this happens? She goes, "You see?"
Well, it was about 3 or 4 years ago. I was actually talking about it, going there, and
Hmm.
then some report came out at the beach on Cancun that these cartel people were on these ski-doos in the
Right.
water, and they were shooting in the air their machine guns
Yeah.
and scaring everybody to get out of the water. I mean,
Yeah. Not a good vacation, huh?
no, no, no.
Here's my beautiful honeymoon. Here's a film of my honeymoon.
Yeah,
You know,
I'd
uh,
rather go to the Bahamas or something.
the Bahamas. Yeah. It affected tourist areas like
Puerto Vallarta.
Vallarta. Thank you. Where some U.S. and foreign visitors
Remember
are
the movie
stranded.
10?
They're still stranded. Oh, is that where it took
That's
place?
where it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dudley Moore.
Nothing more. Yeah,
That
great.
was great.
Another
Movie
great movie.
with Bo Derek.
Yeah.
I think that's where it was. It was that beach, I think.
Flights were canceled or disrupted for the longest time. That's really what made people freak out in the airport is they
Sure.
couldn't get
They
away.
couldn't get away.
They get on a plane and get the heck out of there. So, yeah, you got the casualties already, 70, including 25 at least of police officers.
Yeah.
Now, they were showing clips. Pet David, PBD podcast, they had a picture of these guys dressed up in a van and all this stuff. And Pat was saying that are they the police? Are they the police? And,
Right, because you
and Vinny was saying, no, that's the cartel. That's the cartel.
Right.
They got more equipment than the police.
Yeah.
They're outgunned and they're outmanned by these cartels.
Well,
So what do you do?
They're ultra rich because they make money off of drugs, fentanyl,
Sure.
methamphetamines, and I think they probably get paid by China to do a lot of stuff to send drugs in. So they're getting paid big bucks. I mean, that's why that's why they want to keep the way they want to keep it. They don't want to ruin their income.
Right.
And Trump is putting a lot of pressure on Mexico to try to stop these people.
Yeah, and it's not easy because
No, it's not easy.
they're like an army.
I mean, they're
Their own
thinking
army.
that what's her name, the president, Scheinbaum?
Scheinbaum, yeah.
What kind of a Mexican name is that?
I don't know. It sounds like she lives in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yeah. They're saying that she might even be involved with them.
Well, I think almost, they almost have to be because they fear for the lives of them and their family.
Yeah. Wasn't there a phone call that this guy before he died, before they had the shootout with him, he was talking to some police officer saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I thought we were friends. I thought
Right.
we were on the same side.
Right.
What are
I
you
paid
doing?
you.
I paid you."
Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah.
Think about that.
I saw the whole transcript, and he's telling the police, "What happened? I thought we were friends, or we worked this out, or we had a deal." And he's yelling in
Yeah,
Mexican or whatever he's talking.
yeah, in Spanish.
In Spanish, yeah. And I couldn't believe it, what he was saying. Hey, I paid you, and I thought
Well,
we were friends.
it's been
Aren't we
known,
partners?
supposedly, that a lot of them, the cartels, were paying off politicians and sheriffs and police officers and stuff to keep quiet. And
Yeah. Yeah. The money flowing through this stuff is nuts.
sure,
It's
big
nuts.
bucks.
You remember
Remember Scarface?
Scarface? Yeah, look at Scarface, right?
Yep.
I mean, the money is just incredible. So there's a power vacuum right now, and there's infighting going on to see who's going to take over. I guess it's almost like the mob, right?
Yeah.
You take out a boss, now who's going to take
Yeah,
over?
who's going to take over? Sure. Well, that's the big argument about what's going on in Iran. They go to war with Iran and they take this guy out. Who's going to take over? Is
Yeah.
it going to be okay? Is it going to cause chaos?
Now the other thing is this cartel was battling against Sinaloa cartel. They were already weakened because they're infighting like crazy too. They're fighting each other and killing each other, because they're arrested of El Chapo
Right.
back then, and there still isn't really some kind of main
Did
leader.
he ever
there.
die? El Chapo? Is he gone? I know he escaped or something.
I don't know, honestly. You look it up while we're talking. Some factions had temporary alliances, but El Mencho's death could spark escalation in the turf war. So now that nobody has a leader, they're all fighting for turf and who's got what and who's going where. Yeah, it's Claudia Scheinbaum. Yeah,
Claudia Scheinbaum, right?
yeah. called it a major win. But she's faced pressure with the U.S. To do more. You just said that. Yep. You're looking up to see if he's
Yeah,
still
he's
there.
still alive.
He is.
He's 68.
Where is he?
Uh,
In a U.S. prison?
doesn't say.
Okay.
No,
I wasn't
doesn't
sure
say.
if we were holding him or he's in Mexico or whatever.
Doesn't say where he's at.
So overall, Mexico is really experiencing a surge in cartel-related, instability right now. And you think our riots are bad?
He's in jail.
Okay.
Life without parole.
Okay.
Doesn't say where though.
All right.
Hmm.
Maybe it's a secret. They don't want anybody to know.
Maybe.
Yeah. So they're saying all this stuff can go on for months. So who knows?
Oh, sure. I would think it is.
You
know.
think our
And
protests
you
are
realize she's got to be this shine bomb lady. She's got to be worried about this because the tourism. That's nobody's going to want to go there.
bad? No, and Mexico relies on.
When I was selling cars, I had two customers, and I sold BMWs. Everybody's rich who buy these things. And I had two customers that had a house in Puerto Vallarta and another one in Mexico City.
Right.
And I used to ask them, I said, aren't you kind of scared that you're in Mexico? And they would always say the same thing. Oh, there's nothing wrong. It's all great. Yeah, I like to talk to them now. But, yeah.
I mean, when people are bitching about being in this country and what's going on with the ICE agents, we killed one person.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, we killed two people.
Yeah.
Here we lost 25 police officers.
Right.
And all kinds of people and people on the streets and are burning buses and they're doing.
I know.
We're such a bad country.
I know. We're
that
so bad.
Rosie might come back.
Yeah.
We're so bad. It's. Yeah, you know what I mean? Look what goes on elsewhere. That's what people don't get.
People don't get it. I know.
You don't like the country? Get the hell out.
Yeah.
Go live there and then see what happens.
Right.
And you can't get away, or they kill your dog. They even said, the guy said in that conversation with the cops,
Right.
I'm going to kill your dogs, and meaning the family and his pets and everything.
Yep.
I know where you live, he was telling the cops. Now, how can a cop, think about it, how could he do his job without giving in to some of these people? Right. Well, you'll lose your family. They're going to find them no matter what, unless you're here.
Well, they pay the cops off.
Everybody's paid.
You get a cop that's just making X amount of dollars, not a lot, and all of a sudden one of these cartel guys come up and say, "Listen, here's $1 million.
Yeah,
help us do this, help us do that."
They recruit people all the time.
Before you know it, they're taking it, and
So it's a mess down there. Don't go to Puerto Rico. And anybody got kids?
Not Puerto Rico, Mexico.
I mean Mexico. Don't go to either place. Don't go anywhere.
Puerto Rico's okay.
Puerto Rico's all right. Yeah.
That's where I was born.
That's why I said don't go there. So anybody who's got kids in school, spring break coming up,
oh yeah,
Mexico is not the place to go.
God, you have all these a
lot of kids
spring
canceled
break
already.
going down there,
Yeah.
and God.
So they canceled a lot already. Yeah.
And then here's the other problem: they got soccer. They got 4 soccer games that are going to be there when this cup thing opens up.
Oh yeah.
I'm not into that. They call
Soccer,
it football or
Yeah,
soccer.
yeah.
4 games right in Guatemala, where a lot of this took place.
Right, because we got some coming to the
Guadalajara,
U.S. too, right?
Guadalajara.
Okay.
Guadalajara.
Right.
Yeah, there's going to be 4 games there. How
How's that
the
gonna happen?
security that they're going to need?
Yeah. Oh,
And if you have people flying in there, tourists flying in there,
yeah.
and these guys are nuts, they'll try to let's try to disrupt everything. You know,
they got missiles that take down a plane. Shoulder missile stuff. So who knows? But hopefully this thing works out. But we'll see. And the U.S. is kind of involved, but no boots on the ground. Hopefully not. We got to stay out of some of this stuff and start working to bring down steak prices. It's getting out of hand. At the very end, I'll talk to you a little bit about what I found out about steak prices and why they're so high.
Steak prices.
$38.
Oh, I know.
All right.
Not if you go to Texas Roadhouse. On Wednesdays,
or
11
Longhorn.
something.
Oh, nice.
Or you get a steak, a baked potato. See? Nice.
Get it all. Get it all. Nothing like that in Mexico, is there?
Yeah, let's put a little plug in there
You
for
be-
Texas Roadhouse.
Mexico, you get a steak, you don't know if it's a person. It's pretty bad. Well, yeah, you go USA, go USA.
Yep.
Baby, since 1980.
Yep.
Wow.
And you want to know something? Everybody's beating them up or beating the Trump administration up for
Yeah.
sending Kash Patel there.
Yeah.
Okay. In 1980, Carter was the president.
Yep.
Mondale was the vice president.
Right.
Mondale went in and congratulated him into the locker room and then called Carter, just like Kash Patel called Trump.
Right.
Nobody said anything back then. Oh, nobody. No. But Trump does it.
Right.
With Kash Patel,
Patel.
oh, it's the end of the world. Oh, they're horrible. What's he doing there? Oh, terrible.
Oh, and
are they,
Kash Patel
idiots?
is a hockey player.
Yes, I know. He loves it. Loves
he
the
loves
game.
hockey.
Loves it.
And they invited him into the locker room. And all the Dems are all saying, "Oh, he shouldn't be there. He's
He
wasting
shouldn't-
tax money."
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So I got a question for you. When was the last time the Democrats cared who went into locker rooms? Right? They got girls, guys.
Yeah,
They
girls,
don't care.
guys.
They don't care.
They don't care.
Now all of a sudden they care who's
They
in the
care.
locker room
Right.
because it's Kash Patel. How does that make sense? But it's anything to criticize and
Anything to make Trump look bad.
yeah. So
It's just.
so these guys are just incredible. It was so emotional watching them come on the ice.
Yeah.
And the pictures and the gold and the fun and it's not funny, but Canada, they gave them the silvers first.
I know. They didn't know. And
could've- It
supposedly.
could have been chocolate. They didn't.
I heard that somebody in the audience, somebody yelled out, "Hey, Canada, 51st state."
Yes, I'm gonna say. I was gonna say,
Oh, talk about adding fuel to the fire.
can you imagine if Trump had a deal with them? If you win, we don't come after you. If you lose, you're 51st state. So they were miserable. So I thought, well,
Oh, they
maybe
were miserable.
maybe he worked that out with them.
You could see the look on their face.
You got to feel bad though.
But you know, okay, we won.
Yeah.
They won 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Gold.
Right.
Even and against the Americans a couple times.
That's right. And the one guy was interviewed and he said, "We should have won that. We were the better team."
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and-
You said that.
Yeah, maybe you do have a better overall team, but this guy got one past you.
That
and
one pass.
that was it.
That was it.
It was a good game, right?
Oh, it was an excellent game.
1-1.
I'm
the
not
whole
into
game.
hockey, but I
No.
said to my wife, I said, we got to
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah.
This is for the gold. You know?
I was at Cigars International watching it live.
Oh, were you?
Big screen up there, and everybody went nuts. You know, it was fun, and to see the patriotism there, and just crazy. And now all these hockey players, as most of you know, come from all different teams,
Right.
and now they all play together, and it was so nice to see that coming together. I just loved it.
Well, the guy that won the gold plays for the Devils.
Yes.
Now, do you know,
one
is
that
he
did the
from New
shot, you mean?
Jersey or no?
I don't.
His name is Jack Hughes.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, it's
He's
probably
got a brother too that
got
plays
Hughes
twin.
brothers. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure whether he was born in New Jersey or where he was born, but
I don't know,
I
but
know he plays for the Devils.
Yeah, I see that. Jersey Devils, and then
Well, and that's the whole thing. A lot of these players play even on Canada's teams,
yeah,
and they're friends.
yeah, they're all buddies. I know.
They're all.
And now,
Well, see, back in 1980, they didn't do that. They didn't have professional players, just like the
Right,
NBA
you're right,
players for
you're
the
right.
summer games. They didn't have NBA players. They do now. Now they're doing that.
yes,
The 80 team that beat Russia and then went on to Finland to win the gold, they were just hockey players that didn't belong to the NHL
right,
or anything.
They were
like
just good hockey players to make the Olympics. Yeah, I remember when they changed that rule.
that. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So I'm going to mention some names. We got Jack Idle, Jack Hughes, you just mentioned, Austin Matthews, Brady Tuchuk.
Chuck, yeah. He was the, wasn't he the goalie?
And
no. No,
Matthews'
Jake.
brother plays for Florida Panthers. They're brothers. Wow.
Wow. Or was that Jake Gunsell?
Who scored the last shot?
Jack Hughes.
Oh, it was Jack. Okay, yeah. So Matt Boldley, Kyle Connor, he plays for Winnipeg.
Winnipeg Jets. Jake Gunsall plays for Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
And I think, didn't they win the Stanley Cup last year? Or I can't remember. I know Tampa Bay went pretty far. And then Dylan Larkin. But I think that Jake, let me see.
All right.
The
And then
goalie is unbelievable. The
Oh,
goalie
I
was
know.
just phenomenal, and I think
Right.
that's who that is.
and the Canadian goalie was phenomenal too until he let the last shot go through.
Yeah.
His head went down so far to the ice. I
Oh
think he
my
hit his head.
God!
On the defensive,
Cartel's after him now.
defensive man was Queen Hughes. Plays for the Canucks. You got Charlie McAvoy. I'm sorry, Boston Bruins. Zach Wenrinsky. I'm terrible with names. The Blue Jackets. Brock Faber. Minnesota Wild. Noah Haffenen. Vegas Golden Nuggets. Golden Knights. Golden Nuggets. That's a casino.
Yeah.
And Connor Hollenbeck. Winnipeg Jets. Jake Ottenheimer. Dallas Stars. And Jeremy Swayman. Boston Bruins. Now, they were also talking about some of these colleges that are pushing out these guys that are doing so well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they're so proud of these people that they push out there and get them on the team.
There's the goalie, Connor down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Hallenbach
Okay.
plays for the Winnipeg Jets. He was the goalie.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah,
He
what a
was great.
job.
Oh my God, was he good? Holy heck!
Yeah, when you see him dodging and doing this and
Oh yeah,
it was
but
so funny.
the one of the best moments I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Now when Jack Hughes hit the goal, and then do you see the lady interview him
Yeah.
on how proud he was to be an American, how
Right.
proud he was to be a USA wearing
missing
these
teeth.
colors. It was poor guy was bleeding.
Bleeding, I know, and he still played.
Oh, it's a rough game. Let me tell you, it's
I
not
know.
an easy game.
Yeah. Where's some
But
football?
when they lined up for the big picture, and they brought the one hockey player that died,
Yeah,
and his two
Johnny
kids, Johnny,
got
yeah,
Godreau.
yeah, they brought his because
Two
his
kids.
parents were in the audience
Yeah.
with his wife,
Yeah.
and when he died, he had one child. The wife was pregnant with the other one,
Wow.
and when he died, and then he had the baby, and then these guys brought him out on the ice.
On the ice
to
for
take
the pictures and all.
picture. Oh my
They're
God!
so cute.
Oh my God!
And then they were holding the guy's shirt, the hockey
I know,
shirt.
and going around on the ice and
Yeah.
everything with the shirt. Yeah, it
Talk
was
about feeling good.
Oh,
in
that's
a way,
right.
But
feeling real good. But the left, oh no, it's
no.
horrible.
They're
Oh, it's
quiet as
horrible.
shit about
Did you
this.
hear Don Lemon about these guys going to the Capitol for the State of the Union? Why would you want to do that? I would stay away from that. I understand they won the cup,
Right.
the gold medal, but I would not even step close to that man that's in the White House. I would wait a couple months or maybe 2 years, and when he's gone, then I would go to the White House. Oh, it was horrible. Why would he do? What are they, nuts?
You know, they're out of their minds.
They are. They are out of their minds.
And they still haven't come across with stuff they're going to do better. This is all they do.
Yeah, that's all they do is, yeah.
Now they got pictures of AOC all the time and TikTok and all. Would you vote for this woman? You should see what people are writing. A, yes. B, no. C, never. And D, I put F. No, I would not vote for her. What, are you crazy?
Did you hear what she said overseas?
Yeah, we did that last week. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
Well, we have, it was crazy.
Sounded a lot like this. That's not the one I was looking for.
You got to memorize them better.
I know. What was? Oh, I don't have it.
Which one?
Crap.
I thought you did. Oh, no, you didn't.
I did. Remember last time?
Tried
we
to
went
use it
for
last
this.
time, and yeah, it didn't work.
So Johnny Godot, that they were celebrating with the shirt and the kids and all that, he and his brother. Now get this. Now I'm going to talk a second here. Who was the F1 driver that died skiing? He was in a coma forever. Big famous dude.
When was this?
Oh, long time ago. But what I wanted to tell you
Here, I'll
was
look it up.
these two brothers. Well, while I'm talking, yeah, these two brothers were riding their bicycle. Now they play a sport that's pretty rough, and they're just out there riding bicycles. And he and his brother got hit with a drunk driver and killed them both. I mean, alleged. I should say alleged because that's what they still have here. Alleged drunk driver. He was widely expected to be a key member of the U.S. roster when NHL players returned to the Olympic competition for the first time since 2014 to get in.
He didn't die. It was Michael Schumacher.
Michael Schumacher. Now, here's a guy,
He had
drives Formula One cars, 200 miles an hour.
really bad head injury.
Yeah.
Hitting a tree, I guess, or something.
Yeah. So here's a guy is great, right? He won all kinds of championships, race cars that are most dangerous things you can do, and he almost gets killed on a slope.
I know.
Skiing
Yeah. And these guys on a bicycle
on a
from
bike.
a drunk driver. Him and his brother.
Yeah, both of them
Both
at the
of them
same
taking it.
time.
And they were there because their sister was going to get married, right?
Yeah.
Do you imagine that poor sister knowing that her two brothers died
Yeah.
the day before? It was like a day or two before the wedding. Talk about screwing up the whole family and everything.
Oh my
God.
gosh, I know. So I don't know where that case sits right now, but
That happened in 24, I think.
Yeah.
2024.
and the guy was 20-something years old.
I know.
You know, and he gets taken out that way. I mean, it's crazy. So, anyways, jersey hung in the U.S. locker room throughout the whole tournament.
Yep.
And then they brought it out onto the ice. And the celebration, and Cash Patel, I don't care what anybody says, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
that's-
screaming.
that's-
He's doing,
oh, he was-
And he's drinking beer. Oh, my God.
Oh
he
my
drank
God.
beer. He drank beer.
Well,
That's
they said
your
when they
tax
flew
money.
in from Italy to Miami, they went to a club in Miami that supposedly had a lot of topless waitresses and things like that. So what? Let him have a good
And
time.
they didn't even bitch about that. They're
Yeah.
just bitching about him
Yeah.
drinking a beer in the locker room. I mean, come on.
They're all in their 20s. Let them have fun.
He was so excited too, and it just shows the patriotism, and I made everybody feel good, but nobody's on the other side of the fence. I hate to say it, but they're not saying much about it.
I know.
Even CNN and all those guys.
Oh, because
it was lock on Cash
it
Patel.
makes Trump look good because they
Well-
said something great about the U.S. and they're going to the Capitol for the State of the Union.
Well, these hockey players said that's this incredible country. We love our country. We love the patriotism. We love this. We love that.
And then you had that other skier, that woman skier, and also a man skier or whatever,
Yeah.
talking down, beating up our. I won the medal, the gold medal, for me and the way I feel, but I don't like what's going on in this country and blah blah blah. If they read to see exactly what's going on, they're not killing people. ICE people are not killing other people.
I know.
If the damn mayors up there and the governors would do their job, those people would still be alive.
Isn't it funny how now you don't see that out there anymore?
Yeah, no, I know.
Things calm
All of a
down.
sudden, it's calmed
Oh,
down.
gone.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anyway,
Jeffrey Epstein's still going on.
well, we talked about that the last episode. The two guys that got arrested now,
Yeah.
and more coming.
More
There
coming.
was somebody else today.
Yes, there's somebody else today.
I forgot.
I forget who
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
So congrats, U.S. hockey team. Holy crap!
And they're going to be at the State of the
Fantastic.
Union tonight.
Look, Dems. I'm drinking water. Congratulations. We love it.
Yep.
Thank you so much for a great job. And Canada, welcome to our stars. We got to move around the stars now to get 51 in there.
Right.
Just kidding. Just kidding. This is gonna, you know how it's a perfect pattern of 50 stars? There's going to be like one star that's off. You know, there's Canada.
Well, we almost had Greenland. We got Alaska.
Almost.
And
Hawaii.
we got them surrounded.
Yeah. Give it up, baby. Anyway.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So.
Zohran Mamdani.
But the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares. And that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany. And I've put
How?
forward two proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
Ooh. What a jerk. Oh, my God.
I promise to give you free bus rides.
Free this, free that.
that. Government runs stores.
Yep. Remember? Oh, yeah, that's right. Whatever happened to that? He was gonna close down all these supermarkets and make them government store.
Government to help everybody.
To help everybody.
So now, by the way, the bus fares went up. They're not free, and they went up. That's the first mistake he made. That was his first campaign promise: free buses for everybody. And then the rates went up.
The rates went up.
Like 3 weeks after he was in office. He's in what, 2 months, 3 months now, right?
Yep.
And all this shit, all his promises, right? Yep. So he promises all this, not going to raise taxes. He only wants to tax the rich. Now, Governor Hochul, he's putting a shitload of pressure on her
Yeah.
to approve all these tax rate hikes to businesses and rich people,
Right.
which he's not giving in to that. So now he's panicking because now he has no way, after he figured all this out on his blackboard, it's not going to work now,
Not going to work.
right? So,
And the garbage doesn't get picked up. The
right.
snow's not removed. When the snow melted, they found poop and everything.
Yeah, of
Dogs
course.
and
Yeah, right.
everything. The garbage is all.
So now, when he claimed that he was not going to raise property taxes, that was part of his whole thing. People were like, yeah, Mamdani, let's do it. No property taxes. Well, guess what?
With the greatest respect, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
Giving only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I got to increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Zohran Mamdani, you are out your goddamn mind.
There might be, last resort, 9.5% on property taxes. Now, you renters think you're going to get away with murder? That ain't going to happen. Because the property tax goes up on the landlords, you're going to get hit with higher
Yeah,
rent.
the 9.5% hike would generate $3.7 billion
Right.
for fiscal year 2027
Mm-hmm.
and hit over 3 million homes
Right.
plus 100,000 commercial properties.
Imagine.
And commercial properties, that's like the mom and pop store that own
Yeah.
the pizza shop.
That's right.
They're all getting raised.
Yep. Mamdani calls it the last resort and says he does not want to do it. But, he refers to the level of tax the rich. Now, here's the problem. When you own a little store like that, or you're living in New York and you don't have a lot of money, you end up paying this 9.5% if he decides to implement this. If you're rich, you say, see you, asshole, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And they move because they got the money to do that. They can go anywhere they want to go. You own $1 million apartment in New York City, you can buy $1 million house in Miami and go there. Now, people are already leaving, they're saying. They're moving to Texas and Florida. Sure. But there's no taxes at all.
And Tennessee, I think. Tennessee's the other big
Tennessee.
state. Yep.
So this guy promised all these people, and they all voted him in. Now, it definitely going to affect the middle class. And there are people on the street of color, if I might say that. Mm-hmm. And talk about a peaceful protest. It was peaceful protesting.
Yeah,
they didn't burn down the city. They're not doing any of this shit.
Burn down anything. They didn't throw.
And they were some of color, mixed color, whatever.
Yeah.
Very intelligent people are saying, "What are you doing to us? Don't touch our property."
Yeah.
And they're out there protesting with the bullhorns and the whole thing because they voted him based on what he told them,
Right.
and it was all a freaking lie.
Yep.
It was all a lie.
Doesn't work. Stuff like that doesn't work, and everybody try to tell. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Andrew Cuomo, but I'm telling you, he should have been mayor. Out of the three candidates, now I know Curtis Lee was very to the right, but he was a little bit of a hothead and all that. But
Yeah.
he was actually, I thought, would be very good. But Andrew Cuomo had experience as governing and this, that, and the other thing. He would have made a much better mayor than this guy is. I mean,
Well, he had the experience too, and
Yeah.
knows the budgets and knows what the.
knows what to do, how to do it, who to talk to, get things done.
Well, to be fair to Mamdani, he never ran a business in his life. So how do you?
And did you hear that
How do you run a city?
in Times Square, this imam was chanting infidels or something like that? Oh yeah, it was on TV. Yeah, they were chanting. They were talking about how we have the city now. We have our
Oh, my
their
God.
Muslim imams and all
Really?
these people.
And that's
Yeah,
what
it
everybody
was
warned about.
If you look it up, it's in Central. It's in Times Square. And he's yelling and screaming and talking about how now we have the city, we could do what we want.
You know, this ain't.
Now, what is this guy Mamdani going to do when 9/11 comes around, the anniversary in
Oh,
September?
God, that's
is he
a good
going to be
question.
there? He didn't show up for the new cardinal that came to
Oh, yeah.
after Dolan stepped down. I think his name is it Hicks? I think. He didn't show up for that. Every mayor always showed up when a new cardinal comes in or something. He didn't show up for that.
Well, that's a good question. And what we forgot about 9/11 already? Apparently, we did. I hope not. That was the worst attack on U.S. soil. And it was these
If
radical.
he doesn't show up
Islamists.
for that, oh boy.
Oh, I know, especially the families of 3,000 people. Are you kidding me? They got New York already has one of the highest tax rates in the United States. 1.45, nearly doubling the national average of New York already. $12,400 in New York City for a basic tax bill. That's crazy.
And what's this number 3 is going to raise the rents for renters?
Yeah, because the landlords who own the building, if he comes out with this 9.5% property tax,
They got to raise the rent.
yeah, they got to pay the tax. They got to raise the rent.
But I thought he was going to do like a freeze and everything, and because he's on the renter side.
Can't do a freeze. He doesn't have the power to do the freeze. Right. Nobody said anything about that. He doesn't have the whole power to do all that. And now, how do the guys that own the building, all right, they have just enough to make a little bit of a living, and they got 5 tenants, 6 tenants, whatever it is. Now he comes in and raises property taxes by 10%, which is $12,000 a year or more, right, or more. Now, where's he going to get that money? He's got to get it from the renters. Right. So these renters, and in New York City, there's tons of renters.
Tons of renters, yeah.
And usually it's the middle class that are renting because they can't afford anything in New York. I mean, I remember joking around with my wife. I said, I wouldn't mind having a little apartment up above Little Italy, up in there. You know, we went to look at this little apartment. It wasn't as big as what we're sitting in.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, my niece.
And it was $1,800 a month, and that was 5 years ago.
My niece had to move out. I mean, she's a photographer in the city. She had to move out. She couldn't afford it. She says, my rent, and we were there, 1 bedroom, little tiny living room, it was $5,000 a month.
That is so.
She says, I can't do it. It was actually like $4,800.
Right.
She says, I can't do it anymore. I can't. And that was before he came in.
She has to have 2 roommates, minimum.
Well, she did. She had a roommate, but then she moved out. She
yeah.
She had to go back to England. But she says, I can't afford $4,800 a month on a 1 bedroom.
Oh my God. Isn't that ridiculous? And it's nothing spectacular, I'm sure.
It's just that you're living in the city.
In the city, I know. I mean, I wouldn't mind being rich enough to have.
Oh, I would too. If I had all the money in the world, yes, I would get something in the city. I would, no doubt about it.
Just to have it.
Just to have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That and a house in Florida in the winter.
Oh, God, would I love that.
So maybe that's coming.
And have a Ferrari.
Ferrari. You can have the Ferrari. I'll do a McLaren because I don't want a copy. No, a Lamborghini actually is what I wanted.
Yeah, I wouldn't want
the Aventador.
Ferrari. I would want.
Yeah, Ferraris are beautiful.
I would love.
I wanted Aventador.
Oh, what's it called?
Aventador. Lamborghini Aventador. Oof, it's the name of another bull. You know.
Oh.
So this guy's breaking campaign promises all over and got a lot of people upset. A lot of people on YouTube talking about it. A lot of these channels like us said, you know what? Fox News, all these people warned you about this before you voted him in, and we gave you some updates and heads up.
He got the young vote. They don't know what they're doing.
That's the problem.
Go out and, like when we do on the ground, when weather comes out, you ask young people some history, or they don't know.
Yeah.
You know, who was the president in 1962? Mamdani?
Yeah. Yeah. Mamdani.
They don't know. Howard Stern?
Howard Stern. Yeah.
You know, they don't know.
Do you know who I am? No. Here's Johnny. No, it's true. To some of the simplest questions,
questions, they don't know. They don't. All this is what they know.
Yeah, I know.
They just sit there on their phones.
But they also, this guy isn't good in social media. So
he is.
What do you think they're seeing?
Yeah, they're seeing him.
Every day. They're seeing him.
He's only, 33, 34?
Yeah, young guy.
God, my oldest daughter's older than him. Jeez.
Yeah. Right?
Yours too. Don't you have daughters that are older than 34?
Yeah, Amanda's 36, Joe's 35.
Yeah.
Crazy. So here's So this is funny as shit.
Oh, it is. I know what you're going to talk about.
All right. So you know this fight that's going on voter ID. By the way, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Very important because we did a little piece on this about voter ID and how the Dems are just fighting us on voter ID. So Zohran, they call him, right? Mamdani? Is that his first name? Zohran Mamdani. So what he did was he wanted volunteers to come and help dig out the snow because they had got 2 feet out there, 30-something inches, and Central Park.
Yeah.
So he calls for volunteers. Now, of course, he's a Democrat. We know that. And he doesn't want voter ID. You know, everybody wants these illegals to vote so they get in again. That's why they hate ICE, because they're taking away every vote that they pull out of the country.
Right.
There's another vote gone. There he goes. Some lady's crying, they took my husband. Another vote's gone. You know? So he gets these people. He's going to run the pro. He's going to pay them, volunteer, 19 to 28 bucks an hour, which was great. Then he raised it to $30 because the snow was really ridiculous. So he wants to pay these people through him, through New York. And guess what you need to sign up? Any ideas?
I know you need a Social Security card,
You need 2 forms of ID.
2 forms of ID,
Minimum.
but yet you don't need that. You don't need
You don't
any
need
of
that
that
to vote. Right. You don't have to prove you're a citizen, but you got to prove
Well,
you're...
he's saying, from what I understand, he's saying because he wants to pay them
Well, yeah.
$25 or $30 an hour.
Yeah.
He wants to pay them, and he says, "I need that information."
Oh,
to
is
get
that the
them."
loophole?
I guess
That makes sense.
it does make sense. You don't need all that info. All you really need is a Social Security number, and that's about
You
it.
can write him a check for cash.
Yeah, you could. Wow, yeah.
There goes the deficit. He's going to pay everybody $30 an hour now to shovel snow. But I just thought it was funny that now 2 forms of ID. Now the Social Security card, yeah, I guess because you got to get paid. That makes sense, right? But I
Do
just
taxes or whatever.
But why don't you have to prove citizenship to vote? I don't know. Yeah, taxes, whatever it is. But why don't you just pay him cash under the table? Here you go. Then you don't have to do all this paperwork.
Right.
But it just struck me funny that he was
Yeah, that he
Well,
needs. Everybody you need an ID. To
2 forms of ID.
You don't need ID to vote.
Right.
Typical
Right.
left. I swear to God, they're so screwed up. Did you see? Well, speaking of Mamdani, did you see how he handled this snowball fight with the cops?
Oh, by the way, I saw that. That was so bad.
I couldn't believe it.
should've
And
pulled the gun.
I really praise the cops because they didn't
Yeah.
blow their top.
Right.
Don't hit the microphone.
Sorry about that.
I really praise the cops because they didn't blow their top, or they handled it real professionally. They were throwing, and they asked Mamdani,
Yeah.
"Oh, it was just a snowball fight. It was no big deal."
That was so disrespectful.
That was
They were
unbelievable. They were taking snowballs
pelting him with it.
in 2 feet away and hitting him in the face.
I know. And the cops, I don't know how they didn't lose it. Now, did anybody get arrested for that? That's assault on an officer.
Well,
isn't it?
luckily they do have, nobody did, but they are going to track them down. Supposedly the DA in New York, whatever her name is, said she's gonna try to press charges.
Because they're probably all on body cams, and there was people taking video all over the place.
Yep, yeah, and they're right out in the middle of the open there. I'm looking at it right now,
Right.
but just terrible. And did you see this other thing? Did you see Robert De Niro crying on the
No.
podcast
No.
about Trump?
What podcast?
I forget which one it was. You could look it up.
Yeah.
He's crying because he's telling the lady who's running the podcast,
Right.
"It's horrible what's happening. It's horrible. Our country's going to go down the tubes. He's such a bad person." He doesn't even call his name. The thing in the White House.
The thing.
He's gonna,
The thing. Yeah.
Shut up.
That is
I mean,
so...
I had about 5 or 6 movies on my Apple account, movies that I downloaded that had De Niro in it.
Delete.
I deleted all of them except Goodfellas. That's the only one I didn't delete because it's one of my favorite films.
Uh-huh.
But all the other, I deleted both Godfathers.
You didn't get rid of Heat,
deleted-
I
I
hope.
did.
Oh,
I got rid
no,
of Heat.
not
I'm
Heat.
sorry, I got rid of Heat.
Wow.
I had to make a stand here. Making a stand.
Get his stand.
He's crying. What the hell are you crying about?
Unbelievable. It's like Rosie.
And then this stupid guy up in Maine, the Stephen King, the author.
Oh, yeah. He's another.
Trump doesn't even have any family. He's making you think that he's got kids.
What?
Are you? Yes, he came out and he said that. He's saying he doesn't even have any kids. He does. You people are so fooled. He has no kids. He has no wife.
No
He
kids.
doesn't have any. He's a con man.
Yeah, the kid that was walking with him, remember?
Yeah.
That was an Epstein kid.
Yeah, right.
It's his kid.
I'm telling you. I loved Robert De Niro. I loved his films. I thought he was such a
Absolutely.
cool actor. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, this is like a little baby. You're such an
Wow.
idiot.
Here he is, Mr. Tough Guy. In all
Oh,
these
tough
movies.
guy, tough guy. You want to come see me? I'll bop you right in the head,
Yeah.
just like you said about Trump.
And he's crying.
He's crying. Oh, man, I can't. Shut up.
He sounds like these women on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
Yeah. Remember
or
when
Selena
Trump?
Gomez.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My people.
My people. Yeah. And remember in the first term of Trump, that one girl going ah.
Yeah. Oh, she made it big.
And
She's on
Madonna.
everything.
I feel like I want to blow up the White House.
You should have arrested her ass right there. I know. And then who was the girl? You know, she was on the girl I'm thinking about, which I won't get her name. She was on Seinfeld. It was an
Eileen?
episode. Huh?
Eileen?
No, the redheaded comedian that sucked.
Oh, the one that chopped his head off.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
I know.
Remember when they did
Holding up this dummy head of blood, and
You believe that? I just
her career just trashed after that. It was bad anyway. But
it was. She was.
she was on Seinfeld. I'll jog your memory a little bit, where he wanted to get this barbecue sauce because the guy on the label looked like Charles Grodin, and he was going on the Tonight Show, and she was supposed to bring it up, and she got the wrong stuff.
That's right.
you know?
I do remember.
And then the doll. It was the same one with the doll. It looks like George's mother.
George's mother. Yeah.
What are you doing, George? He's sitting there eating French fries, and people were looking at him like, "Shut up, Ma."
The mother.
So she was supposed to bring that doll because that was another joke that he was going to do, and then she brings the wrong doll. This one's much more funnier, you know. So anyway, so those are the crazy world that's happening right now, and
Look at this.
I think we covered a lot.
The hockey team,
Yeah,
the men's hockey team, are offering, I guess, to the president, trade the gold medal for a presidential pen.
wow. Oh man, that's pretty good. I don't know which one I'd want.
Did you see him the other day, Trump signing the executive order about having real milk in the
Yeah,
cafeterias?
I know. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, I mean, they had skim milk. Ugh.
It's gross.
But they have their
Water.
choice. Now they got choice.
And that's all. See, people, that's all he's doing is giving us our choices back, not mandating this crap. That's ridiculous. Which brings me to the beef.
The beef.
Where's the beef? Anybody remember that commercial?
Yeah, Wendy's.
The old lady. in
Where's the
back
beef?
seat. Where's the beef? So, I found out a little tidbit that the price of beef is so high now, but a lot of it has nothing to do with Trump. And here's why. Kids, the lazy kids today, are the people that know who our first president was, all those young guys.
Right.
You know, they're out of college. They come out of college. Who was the first president of the United States? Abraham Lincoln? No.
Kennedy? Nixon?
Nixon? Blah, blah, blah. What's happening is the older farmers that raise steer and cattle,
Right.
and there was lots of them. In the U.S., we never imported beef years ago. They were very affordable to sell. They were selling for $900,000 per steer, which they chop up for steaks and everything. We did it all. It was all U.S. grade, U.S. grade. Their kids do not want to continue the tradition. So we have a shortage of steer for steaks.
Wait a minute. Their kids,
Farmers'
they
kids.
don't want to be farmers.
They don't want to be farmers.
They want to, okay.
Like they did here. You know what they did here in this area? The kids came up, the fathers died, the farmers died, and they sold the friggin' land for warehouses.
They could be rich
Yeah.
and not have to do anything.
Not that may be a bad idea.
Yeah,
No.
pretty good idea.
But instead of working and being a farmer and doing this stuff, which is, don't get me wrong, it's super hard work. I'd never want to do it. But what happened around here, there are literally 15 warehouses in a 3-mile radius of my house.
Yeah.
All the farmland is gone.
Yeah.
It's because they sell it off. And you imagine what they offer these people? They're getting $5, $6, $7 million for all this land. So what would you do? Want to get up at 4 a.m. and feed cattle and milk the cows and do all this stuff? No, I don't think so. So that's part of the reason why, because steer now sells for $3,200 on the average.
Jesus.
For somebody to buy a steer, chop it up, sell it.
Yeah.
So now prices go up, and then God forbid you go to a fancy steak restaurant. It's the same steak you get at Longhorn, but they charge $58 instead of $38 because you're in this fancy restaurant. You know, with all the wood and all that stuff around. So that's the reason beef is a little bit higher right now.
I'm reading about the pen thing.
Yeah.
Evidently, the goalie said, "Would you like to?" Told the president in the Oval Office, they were there today.
Yeah.
"Would you like to wear the medal?" And Trump says, "Yes, I would, but I'm not going to give it back." And he says, "Okay, then you give me a pen, presidential pen."
Oh, is that what happened? Oh.
Yeah, I think they're just kidding, but
Yeah, I'm
that's
sure.
what happened.
No, everybody take it serious. You see, Trump stole the gold.
Yeah, that's all. That would be.
That's coming.
Their heads would spin.
He doesn't have enough gold.
They will lose their shit if that
He
happens.
doesn't have enough gold. Now he's taking their medals.
Right, he doesn't have enough gold. He's got to put it in Trump Tower.
Excellent, guys. Holy crap.
God.
Anyway, that's a wrap tonight, man. I really hope you guys had a good time. I know we did. Some really, really bad news, but some great stuff with U.S. hockey team. Congratulations. Yeah. I'm Joe.
And I'm Bill. We'll see you.
See you
Watch
next
the
week.
State of the Union tonight. 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Tuesday. Remember, this comes out later.
Oh, that's right. It's already out.
You missed it.
You missed it.
You missed it. Like, subscribe.
Yep. Need more cowbell.
More cowbell. Thank you, guys. Good night.